So guys, today I really wanted to put it to the test, the performance of the new Mitsubishi F-2 to see how it compares to the other F-16s, to try to measure how good or how bad it is doing some things, like for example accelerations, smack speeds and turning capabilities. So I did some tests and we're gonna check it out on StatShark as well. So thank you all the people that donated for the GPU for the channel, guys. We hit the goal. We actually did it. I thank you guys enough. I cannot believe that we actually did it in like 1 week. It's just incredible. It's really incredible. So just for you to know, I will be saying this over a few videos just to get everybody, you know, that donated and everything. I will be doing a special video once everything is here. Of course, unfortunately, I noticed that I need a new power supply, so I'm gonna try to see if I have a sale going around that I can buy both with the same money, you know. So yeah, it will take a little bit of time, like 1-2 weeks maybe, to get everything ready to do the video and get the upgrade. But just to let you know, okay guys, of course you can still donate to help it out even more, to, you know, do this faster. But yeah, we hit the goal, so thank you guys so much. It just means a lot to me, and yeah, I'm gonna do a special video for that. Okay, so let's get going, boys. So as you see on the screen right now, I did my personal tests using War Thunder real-time information, because of course in real life, or it means in real game, it's a little bit different than StatShark. So but to be honest, the differences, everything was pretty much the same as we see in the StatShark, okay, apart from some little things, but in a general sense you will see those numbers yet again. So we're gonna take a look on the tests that I did, and then of course on StatShark. So overall, guys, the F2 is clearly a different breed of F-16, okay? It has less acceleration, it has less top speed, but it can turn more, especially in the lower airspeeds. In the higher airspeeds, it doesn't win, but in the lower airspeeds, it does win. So it is incredibly interesting to see this, because as you're gonna see in the graphics later with StatShark, it's just crazy how good the F2 is in the lower airspeeds, and how great the F-16 Block 10 and the Block 50 are in the higher airspeed. So what I did, I tested against the Block 10, which is the lightest model, the earliest model, you know. Of course, all tests were done, you know, with completely empty aircraft, minimal fuel, just to see the performance on the same map, same situation, just to have less and less variables, right? But in a general sense, you can see that the Block 10 F-16 is incredibly light and incredible in the flight performance. It's just, it beats everything if you know what you're doing. But the cool part is that if you know what you're doing with the F2, you can beat an F-16A Block 10 as well, and even the Block 50. So it's up to the pilot to actually utilize the F2 in its full capacity to be able to win dogfights. Initially, you will always suffer, as you saw on the dogfight video that I did. Initially, every aircraft, you know, in the higher airspeeds will turn more or equal to you. So the advantage is not when in high airspeeds. You have to make the enemy bleed their airspeed. It doesn't matter what aircraft it is. If you make them bleed the aircraft, the speed, you know, you might be able to win it just because of the low airspeed performance of this thing. So it's just incredible, okay? So let's go to StatShark and then we talk about the results that I did as well. So a couple of things before, as you can see, obviously the F2 and F-16C, they produce the same amount of power. As you can see right here, it's the same graphic. So if I take out the F2 over here, we'll see that the Block 50 and the F2, they have the same thrust, they have the same engine, and of course the Block 10 produces less power throughout the whole parameter over here. I mean, in the higher airspeeds they are pretty much the same, but in the lower airspeeds the Block 10 engine is a lot weaker. Okay, but take a look on this. So if we go for drag over here, you will see that the drag of the F2 is much higher, like it's incredibly higher. which means that, I mean, look at this, block 10 and block 15, and look at the drag of the F2. And this is because of the extra wing that we have, okay? So if you take a look on the acceleration of these things, you will notice, obviously, that the F2 has less acceleration than the other two. And this was actually something that I noticed. For example, for a 0 speed on the runway until Mach 1, I got a 38 seconds to the F2, okay? With the block 10 and block 50, I got 35. So it's a lot slower, not by much, but it's like 10% slower, more or less, than the other ones to the acceleration up to from 0 to Mach 1. And why is that? Is it just the weight and everything? It's more the drag. Like I showed guys, the acceleration is a lot worse because of the extra drag. You can see that it has so much more drag, even has been the same power output of the F-16C, okay? If you go to the time to speed, over here and try to do kind of the same thing that I did here, of course, it will be a different timing at the end. I did 38 seconds for the F2, but it's just because it takes time to spool the engine, to begin the takeoff. You have the gear down, so there is always that. But you can see that we had 2 to 3 seconds of a difference between that in the real game situation. So F2 was 38, block 10 and block 50 was around 35, and as you can see here in the StatShark, the F2 is saying 35, and the both of the other ones are saying around 32, right? So yeah, as you can see, minor differences over here because of the way that I did the test compared to StatShark, but the difference is there, so you can see that it's a lot worse just because of that. And not only that, guys, it accelerates a lot less, but it has a lot less top speed as well because of that, because it will actually, you know, have a very problematic thing. You know, it has so much drag that it basically equals, the drag equals the amount of thrust that you are producing, okay, very quickly, meaning that you have a very low airspeed, that it's the maximum airspeed, way less than the other ones. You can even see this by the, where is it? Time to speed? Was it a time to speed? I always forget where I put the things over here. You can even see, guys, here directly. I mean, look at this. This is so interesting for me as a pilot. I mean, this is just incredible. So why does the F2 has such a low max airspeed? You know, it will get to Mach 1.12 in the game that I did the test, and it just stays there. It doesn't go faster than that. That's around like 1,300 something, right? While the block 10 and block 50, they go to Mach 1.24, 23, and then they are almost braking, and then they reach their max speed. Why is that? Why is that? Look at this. This is, oh my God, I love this type of thing. This is how much thrust the F2 is producing. Look at that. This is the drag. Yes, there's a point where it doesn't make any sense that the thing will accelerate more because the drag overpasses, if it goes faster, the thrust. Yes, they equal with themselves, you know? If you cannot produce more thrust than the drag, it means that you're going to be stuck with that speed. So yes, the F2 produces so much drag that it increases so much, as you see right here compared to the other ones, that it basically equals the amount of thrust that you get from 1,374 kilometers per hour, meaning that this is the top speed that you will see on this aircraft at this altitude, 0 altitude, right? So yeah, and look at that. Even these two, I managed to do the same test. So StatShark is completely right. I did the same tests over here with the block 10 and block 15, and guess what? These are the max speeds because of that as well. Way below the VNE of the aircraft, which means you can accelerate these all of these aircraft the max you can do, and you will never break your wings in a level flight because the drag is so much in these higher airspeeds that it will basically equal the amount of thrust you are producing, meaning that you are stuck with that speed unless you are diving, then you are, you know, being helped by the planet, right? But it's crazy, it's crazy. So the F2 has this enormously low top speed over here because of that. If we go to time to speed over here, you will see that that happens as well, right? So for example here, times to speed, you know, you can see that it takes more time. But if we increase here to 1600 to see the max speed, look at this. Look at this. So this is where the drag is reaching the amount of thrust you are producing. So the F2 produces so much drag that you cannot accelerate more. And these are the numbers of speed, a lot more than that happens with the Block 10 and Block 50. So yeah, very cool to see this. This is what I tested with the game, and StatShark is going along with it. So the F2 has a lot of drag, meaning a lot less speed, okay? Because the thrust is not good enough to overpass that drag, basically, okay? Another thing, and to wrap up the video, because I think it's already too long, I'm nerding out a little bit over here with these graphs, but you know, like I said, seeing this in college and then seeing this working properly in a game, it's kind of nuts. But yeah, here we have the turning capability, and again, the real game tests that I did corroborate with this. So what we have here is the amount of, you know, turn that we can have according to the speed that you are going, and seeing the max that you can do. So I'm gonna remove this to just clear it out a little bit. As you can see, we have the F2 having all of these turns. So this part of the graph over here, it's basically meaning that the F2 can turn more. And yeah, it was something that I managed to do. So you can see I'm pulling, for example, in the 700s over here, pulling 42 degrees per second of a turn. In the same airspeed, the Block 10 will be doing only 39. So the Block 10 needs to be flying 70 kilometers per hour more to turn the same. If it actually accelerates to 800, it can turn even more, 2 degrees more almost over here. Which means that in the higher airspeeds, the Block 10 is best. But guys, think about it. In a dogfight, you only will see these speeds, especially in the early stages of the dogfight. After that, after the second turn, everything will be around the 500s and 600 kilometers per hour, you know? Which means that you only need to survive the first turn against the Block 10. And then you're gonna beat it, okay? This is how good the F2 is in the lower range. So it loses on speed, it loses on drag, it loses on thrust, max speed, everything, acceleration, but it wins by kind of a good margin over here. I mean, it's not that good, but, you know, 5% maybe, or even more, 7% more or less, in the lower airspeeds. So it will turn even more than the Block 10, and the Block 10 is one of the best aircraft in the game for turning, guys. This is how good it is, and compared to the Block 50 then, it's way better, way better. Even in the higher airspeeds, it cannot even match the amount of turn that this thing can do, right? So in the same airspeeds at the beginning of a dogfight, this thing will be doing almost 1/4 less, like 20% more even, more turn on the F2 than the F-16C Block 50. That's how good it is. But just remember, I was doing the first turn at 800 kilometers per hour with the F2 in the dogfights. 720 is the max, so this is the optimal turn. While the F-16C, you gotta enter in a faster speed and try to beat it in the first dogfight, but even then you're gonna probably lose it. So this is how good the F2 is, okay guys? And once you bring all of these dogfights to a lower airspeed, the F2 will just beat everything, okay? We can even compare to, just to wrap it up the video, to the RAFALE, for example, and the Eurofighter, which are both probably the best aircraft we have in the game right now. So let me bring those to kind of calculate together with those, right? So calculating, come on. I don't want to wait it to be too long. Yeah, there we go. You can see right here, guys, look at this. So in the very low airspeeds, the Mirage, the RAFALE and the Eurofighter can be better than the F2. There is a tiny margin, then the F2 is better. But then it loses out in the normal airspeeds that you will have in a dogfight. But it is the closest aircraft we can have it here. So the F2, yes guys, it will lose on the thrust, it will lose on the power, on the drag, on the acceleration, on speed. But guys, it is the only aircraft in the game that gets this close to the mighty RAFALE and the mighty Eurofighter. Okay, it's the only aircraft that might have a chance, and if you saw that dogfight video, I was able to kill the RAFALE if the other pilot didn't pay to a little bit of attention. So it's the only aircraft that gets close to those in a dogfight. Okay, of course, always comes down to the pilot. It doesn't matter the aircraft in a dogfight, but you get the point, right? If you had equal pilots, the F-2 is the only one that have a chance to properly beat every single time these aircraft if it's piloted correctly and it maintains the correct speeds. So as you can see, it can turn more than them by a little bit, but it can. That's how crazy this F-2 is. So yes, it is maybe not the fastest F-16 ever there, but it is the one that turns the best, and it is the one that will make you have a chance of beating higher tier aircraft with an F-16, which is great. So basically this is it, guys. This is the performance you should expect from the F-2. A slower F-16, but a best, like a turning in its best F-16, okay? Hopefully it wasn't too boring, geeking out about these graphics and testing and everything. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to still help the channel, link is in the description for the people, okay? See you guys, bye.